First contact gone wrong. The vast emptiness of space stretched endlessly before the Dominion Empire's conquest fleet. 300 warships moved in perfect formation through the void, their dark hulls reflecting distant starlight. At the head of this mighty armada, the flagship Eternal Supremacy dwarfed even the largest vessels around it. Commander Vex stood on the bridge, his forearms clasped behind his back. His species had conquered 43 star systems in the past millennium. Earth's solar system would be the 44th. Commander, we are detecting an artificial construct near the third planet, reported his scanning officer, a younger member of their species, whose scales still showed the bright blue of youth. Show me, Vex ordered. The main display flickered to life, revealing a single human vessel floating in the darkness. It was angular and primitive looking, with visible weapon ports and thick armor plating. The ship's designation read USS Thunder across its hull. Pathetic, Vex said, his mandibles clicking in amusement. They still use projectile weapons and metal armor. Begin a deep scan. I want to know everything about their technology before we conquer them. Yes, Commander. Initiating deep scan. The Dominion's scanning beam was their pride. It could penetrate any known shielding, analyze molecular structures, and even extract computer data from a distance. No species had ever defended against it. The green beam shot out from the Eternal Supremacy, engulfing the human battleship in its glow. On board the USS Thunder, alarms suddenly screamed to life. Captain James Miller jumped from his command chair. Report. Sir, we're being scanned by unknown technology, his tactical officer replied, fingers flying across her console. The beam is trying to penetrate our systems. Miller's jaw tightened. Humanity had prepared for this day for 50 years. Ever since they found the crashed alien probe on Mars, they knew others were out there. They knew this moment would come. Activate Protocol 3, Miller commanded. Sir, Protocol 3 will reveal our true capabilities. Do it now. The Thunder's hull began to shimmer. What appeared to be simple metal armor revealed itself as millions of nanobots, each one containing quantum processors. The alien scanning beam hit this surface, and something unexpected happened. The beam didn't penetrate. Instead, it was absorbed, analyzed, and reflected back with 10 times its original strength. On the Eternal Supremacy, warning lights exploded across every console. Commander, the scan is being reflected back at us. The scanning officer shouted. Impossible. No species has ever. The reflected beam slammed into the Dominion fleet. 3 scout ships immediately went dark, their systems overloaded. More alarms blared as the beam carried something else back with it, a message in perfect Dominion language. You have scanned a vessel of the United Earth Defense Force. This action is considered hostile. You have one opportunity to leave our system peacefully. Vex stared at the message in disbelief. How did they know their language? How did they reflect the scan? Commander, his tactical officer interrupted. We're detecting massive energy signatures appearing all around the system. Ships are decloaking hundreds of them. The display updated, showing red dots appearing throughout Earth's solar system. Ships emerged from behind moons, from inside asteroid fields, from the shadows of planets. Each one registered power levels that shouldn't be possible for such a primitive species. At Earth Command, located deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean, Admiral Kate Johnson watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. They took the bait, she said to her staff. The Thunder did its job perfectly. Now they think that's our standard battleship, not our most advanced vessel. General Robert Hayes stood beside her. Should we reveal the full fleet? Not yet. Let them think we only have a few hundred ships. Send the activation signal to Atlas. ATLAS. Earth's quantum AI defense network came online across the entire solar system. It had been waiting, dormant, for this exact moment. Back on the Eternal Supremacy, Commander Vex recovered from his shock. His pride burned at being surprised by these primitives. They dare threaten the Dominion Empire? He snarled. All ships, prepare for immediate attack. We will teach these humans the price of defiance. The Dominion fleet began to advance, weapons charging. Vex would soon learn that scanning Earth's battleship was the worst mistake of his career. Asterisk the hidden arsenal. The Dominion fleet surged forward like a tide of metal and energy. 300 ships strong, each one capable of reducing a planet's surface to glass. Commander Vex stood confident on his bridge, despite the earlier surprise. Numbers didn't lie. The humans had shown perhaps 200 vessels. The math was simple. Commander, the human ships are not retreating, his tactical officer reported, confusion evident in his voice. Of course not. They're trying to appear strong before their destruction, Vex replied. Continue the advance. On the USS Thunder, Captain Miller watched the approaching fleet with calm determination. Lieutenant Carter, status on their virus? Lieutenant Tom Carter looked up from his console, a slight smile on his face. Sir, their scanning beam contained an infiltration virus. It tried to access our systems the moment it made contact. And Atlas ate it for breakfast, sir. Not only did we stop it, but Atlas has completely decoded their programming language. We now have full access to their communication protocols. Miller nodded. Good. Send that data to all ships. It's time to show them what humanity learned from the Mars artifacts. 50 years ago, human colonists on Mars had discovered something extraordinary, the remains of an ancient battlefield. 2 different alien species had fought and died there millions of years ago, leaving behind technology that chunked human development forward by centuries. Humanity had spent decades reverse engineering what they found, improving it, and preparing for the day when the stars would bring new threats. Execute Protocol 7, Miller ordered. The Thunder began to change. Its hull split open in dozens of places, revealing massive electromagnetic coils. The entire battleship was transforming into a weapon, unlike anything the Dominion had encountered. Energy spike detected from the human vessel, shouted a Dominion sensor operator. Before Vex could respond, the Thunder fired. A wave of electromagnetic energy rippled out in all directions, washing over the Dominion vanguard. 50 ships suddenly went dark, their shields flickering and dying, their engines cutting out. What happened? Vex demanded. Unknown, Commander. The human weapons somehow bypassed our shields entirely. It attacked the electronics directly. But that was just the beginning. Across the solar system, Earth's true military might began to reveal itself. Hidden installations on Earth's moon activated. Defense platforms, disguised as asteroids for decades, powered up. Ships that had been running silent in the outer system began accelerating inward at impossible speeds. Commander, we're detecting gravity manipulation drives, the science officer exclaimed. The humans have gravity manipulation technology. This was impossible. The Dominion had taken 5 centuries to develop gravity drives. How did a species that had only reached space 100 years ago possess such technology? Admiral Johnson watched for Earth Command as her forces moved into position. Begin Phase 2. Show them the arsenal. Hatches opened on Earth ships, revealing weapons that shouldn't exist, plasma cannons that fired bolts of contained stellar material, missiles that phased in and out of reality to bypass shields, and beam weapons that could slice through a ship's hull at the molecular level. The first Earth counterattack began. Captain Miller's Thunder, having disabled 50 enemy ships with its electromagnetic pulse, now targeted the survivors. Gravity missiles launched from its tubes, each one creating a microsingularity upon impact. 3 Dominion cruisers were crushed into balls of twisted metal within seconds. Return fire. Vex screamed. The Dominion fleet opened up with everything they had. Thousands of energy beams and plasma bolts streaked toward Earth ships. But something strange happened. The human vessels moved with impossible agility, their gravity drives allowing them to change direction instantly without regard for inertia. They danced between the incoming fire like leaves in a storm. Dr. Emily Ross, aboard the science vessel Newton, monitored the battle from a safe distance. ATLAS began frequency analysis of their weapons. The AI responded instantly. Analysis complete. Dominion weapons operate on 12 fixed frequency bands. Uploading shield modulation protocols to all vessels. Within seconds, every Earth ship had adjusted their shields to specifically counter Dominion weapons. The next barrage of alien fire splashed harmlessly against humanity's defenses. Commander Vex watched in growing horror as his fleet's weapons became useless. How are they adapting so quickly? His answer came in the form of a broadcast on their own communication frequency. A frequency that should have been encrypted beyond any human ability to decode. Dominion Fleet, this is Admiral Johnson of Earth Command. You have entered our system with hostile intent. You scanned our vessel without permission. These actions constitute an act of war. However, we offer you one chance. Leave now, and no more of your ships will be destroyed. Vex's mandibles ground together in rage. You dare, sir. His communications officer interrupted. We're receiving reports from the disabled ships. The humans have boarding parties. They're taking our ships intact. Private Jack Wilson led one such boarding team through the corridors of a Dominion cruiser. The aliens hadn't expected the electromagnetic pulse to also disable their internal defenses. His team moved efficiently, stunning the crew with non-lethal weapons. Remember, Wilson said to his team, we want prisoners, not casualties. Earth needs to show the galaxy we're not monsters. Back on the Eternal Supremacy, Vex made a decision that would seal his fleet's fate. All ships full attack. Destroy every human vessel. Show no mercy. The battle was about to escalate beyond anything either side had imagined. The quantum trap space around Earth erupted into the largest battle the solar system had ever witnessed. Dominion ships fired desperately at the nimble human vessels, but their weapons were becoming less effective with each passing moment. Atlas was learning, adapting, evolving its countermeasures in real-time. Dr. Emily Ross stood in the Newton's command center, her fingers dancing across holographic displays. It's time. Activate the quantum entanglement grid. For 20 years, Earth had been secretly placing quantum beacons throughout the solar system. Disguised as space debris, hidden in asteroids, buried on moons, thousands of them, all connected at the quantum level. Now, they activated simultaneously. A shimmering web of energy appeared across the solar system, invisible to normal sensors, but very real to any ship trying to use faster-than-light technology. On the Eternal Supremacy, alarms screamed, Commander, our jump drives are failing. The navigation officer reported, we cannot open a hyperspace window. What? Why? Vex demanded. Unknown, sir. It's as if space itself has been locked down. Vex's forearms clenched. Without jump drives, they couldn't call for reinforcements. They couldn't retreat. They were trapped. Meanwhile, Private Jack Wilson and his boarding team had reached the bridge of the captured Dominion cruiser. The alien crew had been secured, and Wilson was now examining their computer systems with the help of Atlas. This is incredible, Wilson reported to command. Their shields have a fatal flaw. They operate on a single frequency at a time. They can't handle rapid frequency changes. Admiral Johnson received this information and immediately acted on it. All ships implement rotating frequency attacks. Change your weapon frequencies every 0.3 seconds. The effect was devastating. Dominion shields, designed to adapt to one or two frequency types, couldn't handle weapons that changed their nature faster than the shields could adjust. Earth's beams started punching through. scoring hits on Dominion hulls. Commander, Vex watched his tactical display in disbelief as ship after ship reported hull breaches. How are they doing this? His science officer had an answer, though not one Vex wanted to hear. Commander, their AI system is beyond anything in our database. It's not just learning our technology, it's improving upon it in real time. The Dominion had encountered artificial intelligence before, but nothing like Atlas. Earth's quantum AI operated on principles the aliens hadn't even theorized yet. Fine, Vex snarled. If we cannot have this system, no one will. Prepare the Planet Killer. The Planet Killer was the Dominion's ultimate weapon, a missile that could crack a planet's core, destroying it completely. It was a weapon they'd used only 3 times in their history, each time to make an example of a species that resisted too strongly. The massive weapon deployed from the seeing eternal supremacy's belly, its dark form bristling with apocalyptic energy. General Hayes saw it immediately. They're going for Earth. All ships, intercept that weapon. But Captain Miller had a different idea. ATLAS, can you calculate a wormhole trajectory? Affirmative, Captain. Where would you like the exit point? Miller grinned. Right in the middle of their fleet. 3 Earth ships, the Thunder, the Lightning, and the Hurricane formed a triangle formation around the Planet Killer's trajectory. They fired simultaneously, not at the weapon, but at the space around it. The combined gravity manipulation created something unprecedented, a tactical wormhole. The Planet Killer entered the wormhole and emerged 30,000 kilometers away, in the heart of the Dominion fleet. Its targeting systems, confused by the sudden displacement, locked onto the nearest large mass, the Dominion battleship, Unconquerable. Abort! Abort the weapon! Vex screamed, too late. The Planet Killer slammed into the Unconquerable and detonated. The explosion consumed the battleship and 12 other vessels nearby, creating a miniature star that lived and died in seconds. The psychological blow to the Dominion was massive. They'd just destroyed their own ships with their own ultimate weapon. But Earth wasn't finished. General Hayes coordinated a complex maneuver, using Jupiter's gravity well to slingshot a portion of the fleet into a perfect pincer formation. The Dominion found themselves surrounded, with Earth ships on all sides. Commander, the communications officer said quietly, we're trying to send a distress signal to the homeworld, but something is jamming all our long-range communications. Atlas had extended its reach, using the captured Dominion communication protocols to flood their channels with noise. No message would leave this system. Vex looked at his tactical display. Half his fleet was disabled or destroyed. The other half was trapped and slowly being picked apart. The humans had turned what should have been an easy conquest into a nightmare. Sir, his tactical officer said, the humans are broadcasting again. Admiral Johnson's voice filled the bridge. Commander Vex, you've lost. Surrender now, and we guarantee the safe treatment of your crews. Continue fighting, and we will be forced to destroy every last ship. Vex's pride warred with his pragmatism. He still had 150 ships. Surely that was enough to... Commander. Massive energy readings from Earth's moon. The moon's surface cracked open in dozens of places, revealing massive cannon installations. They fired in unison, beams of coherent energy that carved through space. 20 more Dominion ships were crippled in seconds. They turned their moon into a weapon. The science officer whispered in awe and terror. The freed alien slaves that Wilson's team had discovered were now providing intelligence to Earth forces. A small reptilian being named Crix was explaining Dominion weak points to human commanders. Their command structure is rigid, Crix explained. Take out the flagship, and the rest will falter. Admiral Johnson considered this. All ships, prepare for final assault on the Eternal Supremacy. Commander Vex saw the human fleet reorganizing, all focusing on his position. He made a desperate decision. Activate self-destruct protocols for all ships. If we die, we take them with us. But even this final gambit was about to fail. Mike Davis and his cyber warfare team had been waiting for exactly this moment. Asterisk, humanity's gambit. They're activating self-destruct protocols across their entire fleet. Lieutenant Carter announced, his voice tight with urgency. Admiral Johnson didn't flinch. Davis, you're up. In a secured bunker on Earth, Mike Davis and his team of 30 cyber warfare specialists went to work. They'd been preparing for this possibility since Atlas decoded the Dominion's computer language. Atlas, implement viral package Trojan horse. Target their self-destruct systems. Davis commanded. The AI responded instantly. Using the communication channels it had already infiltrated, Atlas injected a carefully crafted virus into the Dominion network. The virus was elegant in its simplicity. It didn't try to stop the self-destruct. Instead, it convinced the ship's computers that the self-destruct had already occurred. On the Eternal Supremacy, Vex waited for the explosions that would take the human fleet with them. Seconds passed. Nothing happened. Why haven't the ships detonated? He demanded. I don't know, Commander. The systems show successful detonation, but ... But we're still here, Vex finished, his voice hollow. Admiral Johnson's voice crackled over their communications. Commander Vex, we've disabled your self-destruct. You have no options left. Surrender, or we will board your ships and take them by force. Boarding of the Eternal Supremacy was a carefully coordinated operation. Captain Miller personally led the assault, with 500 Earth Marines transported directly onto the massive ship via short-range teleportation, another technology reverse-engineered from the Mars artifacts. The Dominion crew fought back, but they were demoralized and confused. Their weapons, calibrated for ship-to-ship combat, were less effective in close quarters against humans, wearing powered armor that adapted to each hit. Miller's team fought their way to the bridge while other teams secured critical systems. Along the way, they discovered something that changed everything. Captain, you need to see this, Private Wilson called from a lower deck. Miller arrived to find hundreds of holding cells, each containing different alien species. The prisoners were malnourished, scarred, and broken. Asterisk. By God, Miller whispered. How many species have they enslaved? A tall, thin creature with pale blue skin reached out through the bars. Please, help us. We are the Vathi. The Dominion destroyed our world when we resisted. They kept some of us as ... examples. Get them all out, Miller ordered. Medical teams now. As the freed slaves were evacuated, they provided crucial intelligence. The location of the Dominion homeworld, the specifications of their defense networks, the names of other enslaved species who might rise up if given hope. Back on the bridge, Commander Vex found himself surrounded by human Marines. His forearms were bound with energy restraints as Captain Miller approached. You have no idea what you've done, Vex said. The Dominion Empire spans 43 systems. You've defeated one fleet, but there are dozens more. Miller removed his helmet, meeting Vex's 6 eyes with his 2. Then we'll free all 43 systems. You're insane. You're one species barely out of your own system. We were one species, Miller corrected. Now we have allies. The freed slaves were already volunteering to help Earth. The Vathi provided technological insights. The Krix shared military intelligence. The Novan, a species of engineers, offered to help improve Earth's ships. Admiral Johnson had a decision to make. Earth could accept the surrender, take the technology, and prepare for the inevitable Dominion counterattack. Or they could take the fight to the enemy. Prepare a coalition fleet, she announced to her staff. We're going to the Dominion homeworld. Admiral, is that wise? General Hayes asked. We've just won our first battle, and if we sit here, they'll return with a fleet we can't defeat. But if we strike now, while they don't expect it, with their own ships and freed slaves, who know their weaknesses, ... double quotes, Hayes understood. A preemptive strike. The captured Dominion ships were quickly retrofitted with human improvements. Atlas upgraded their systems. Earth engineers improved their shields. And the freed aliens helped operate systems humans didn't fully understand yet. Within 3 days, a fleet of 400 ships was ready, half human, half captured Dominion, all united in purpose. Commander Vex was brought to the Bridge of the Thunder to witness the departure. "You're going to fail," he said to Captain Miller. "The homeworld's defenses are impregnable." "Your slaves don't think so," Miller replied. "They've told us about the maintenance tunnels that are never guarded, the shield generators that haven't been upgraded in centuries, because no one has ever attacked the homeworld. Your Empire's greatest weakness is its arrogance." The Coalition fleet entered hyperspace, using the Dominion's own jump drives. The journey would take 7 days. During that time, the freed slaves trained human crews on Dominion technology, while humans shared their adaptive tactics with their new allies. Crix, the reptilian former slave, approached Admiral Johnson. "Why do you risk your species for us? You could have just defended your system." Johnson looked at the stars streaking by outside. "Because that's not who we are. Humanity has a dark history of slavery and oppression. We know what it's like to fight for freedom. We won't let others suffer if we can help it. Dominion will not surrender easily. Then we'll make them an offer they can't refuse." The fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Dominion home system. Immediately, alarms rang out across the planet. A conquered fleet had returned, but not under Dominion control. The Dominion's defense commander, Vex's superior, opened communications. "This is Supreme Commander Thax. You will return our ships and surrender immediately, or we will destroy you all." Admiral Johnson appeared on their screens. "Supreme Commander, I'm Admiral Johnson of Earth. We have defeated your conquest fleet, captured your ships, and freed your slaves. But we come with an offer of peace." "Peace? After attacking our fleet?" "Your fleet attacked us first. But that's not important now. You have 2 choices. Accept Earth's terms for peaceful coexistence, or face the combined might of every species you've enslaved." As if on cue, jump portals opened around the system. Ships appeared, not Earth ships, but vessels from the Vathi, the Crix, the Novan, and a dozen other species. Word of Earth's victory had spread through secret slave networks. The oppressed had found hope and were rising up. Supreme Commander Thax looked at his tactical display. His homeworld was surrounded by enemies that his empire had created. Asterisk. The new order, the Dominion homeworld, hung in space like a jeweled orb, its 3 moons bristling with defensive platforms. For 1,000 years, no enemy had dared approach the heart of the Empire. Now, it was surrounded by the largest fleet gathering in galactic history. Supreme Commander Thax stood in the Imperial Command Center, his 4 arms trembling not with fear, but with rage. "How many ships?" 800 and rising, Supreme Commander, his aide reported. "More jump portals are opening every minute." The revolution had spread faster than anyone anticipated. Earth's victory had been the spark, but the fire was fueled by centuries of oppression. Species the Dominion had conquered, enslaved, and forgotten were arriving to claim their freedom. Admiral Johnson stood on the Thunder's bridge, now the flagship of the Coalition. Captain Miller was beside her, along with representatives from 20 different species. "Open a channel to the planet," Johnson ordered. Thax's image appeared on the screen, his 6 eyes burning with defiance. "Supreme Commander," Johnson began, "I'll make this simple. Unconditional surrender. Release all slaves. Dismantle your war machine. In return, your species survives. You dare dictate terms to the Dominion Empire? We have ruled for a millennium. And that rule ends today, Johnson replied calmly. You have 1 hour to decide. She cut the transmission. Captain Miller turned to her. Think they'll surrender? No, but their people are watching. When we win, they'll remember we offered peace first. The hour passed. The Dominion's answer came in the form of a massive barrage from their planetary defense platforms. Thousands of energy beams and missiles streaked toward the Coalition fleet. All ships implement scatter protocol. Johnson commanded. The fleet dispersed in a choreographed dance, Earth ships using their gravity drives to pull allied vessels out of harm's way. Atlas coordinated 800 ships as if they were a single organism. Return fire. Disable those platforms. The battle for the Dominion homeworld began with surgical precision. Earth's forces targeted military installations while carefully avoiding civilian areas. The freed slave species wanted justice, not genocide, but the Dominion had one last surprise. From the planet's surface, a massive ship began to rise, a vessel 3 times the size of the Eternal Supremacy. What is that? Miller asked. Crix, the reptilian ally, gasped. The Imperial Throne. It's the Emperor's personal dreadnought. Legend says it has never been defeated. The Imperial Throne opened fire with weapons that dwarfed anything in the Dominion fleet. Its first barrage destroyed 30 Coalition ships instantly. All ships fall back. Johnson ordered. We need a new strategy. But Mike Davis, monitoring from Earth, had an idea. Admiral, the Imperial Throne is old, right? Probably running on legacy systems? What are you thinking, Davis? Atlas has been learning their code for days now. Old systems have old vulnerabilities. Give me 5 minutes. While Davis worked, the Coalition fleet engaged in a fighting retreat, using hit-and-run tactics to keep the Imperial Throne busy. Earth's adaptive shields held against most attacks, but their allies were taking heavy casualties. Then, suddenly, the Imperial Throne stopped firing. Got it, Davis announced. I found a back door in their navigation system. It's from a software update 800 years ago. I'm uploading a virus now. The massive dreadnought began to spin slowly, its weapons firing randomly into space. Its shields flickered and died. Now, Johnson commanded. All ships concentrate fire on their engines. The combined fleet attacked as one. Hundreds of beams and missiles struck the Imperial Throne's propulsion systems. The great ship listed, then began falling back toward the planet, its crew desperately trying to regain control. Emperor Zarek himself appeared on all channels. He was ancient, his scales dulled with age, his 6 eyes dim. Stop, he said simply. We surrender. The firing ceased. Across the planet, Dominion forces laid down their weapons. The empire that had terrorized the galaxy for a millennium had fallen in a single day. The negotiations took place on Earth's moon, in a facility hastily constructed to accommodate dozens of different species. Emperor Zarek, Commander Vex, and the Dominion leadership sat across from Admiral Johnson and the Coalition representatives. Your terms? Zarek asked. Johnson slid a datapad across the table. Complete dissolution of the Empire. Each conquered world regains independence. All slaves freed immediately. Your military reduced to system defense only. War reparations to be paid over the next century. And if we refuse? Then the Coalition occupies your world permanently. Zarek was silent for a long moment. You could destroy us? Why show mercy? Because, Johnson said, humanity knows what it's like to make mistakes. We've had our dark periods, but we learned that lasting peace comes from forgiveness, not vengeance. A month later, the Galactic Freedom Alliance was officially established. Earth, despite being the newest spacefaring species, was elected to lead it, not because of their military might, but because they'd shown both strength and mercy. Captain Miller stood with Admiral Johnson as they watched the first meeting of the Alliance Council. Representatives from 50 species sat together, former slaves next to former masters, all working toward a common future. Think it will last? Miller asked. Nothing lasts forever, Johnson replied. But maybe, just maybe, we've bought the galaxy a few centuries of peace. Atlas, the AI that had been instrumental in the victory, was shared with all Alliance members. Not as a weapon, but as a guardian of distributed consciousness that would help prevent any single species from dominating others. Again, Commander Vex, surprisingly, requested to stay on Earth. I want to understand, he said, how a species so young accomplished what no other could. He was assigned as a liaison, helping to integrate Dominion technology with human innovation. Within a year, the first joint human-Dominion exploration vessel was launched. Heading for galaxies unknown. The freed slave species thrived with their newfound freedom. The Vathi became master traders. The Krix established the galaxy's premier military academy. The Novan revolutionized faster-than-light travel. And Earth? Girth became what nobody expected, not conquerors, not overlords, but teachers. They shared their adaptability, their creativity, their stubborn refusal to accept the impossible. In schools across the galaxy, young beings of all species learned about the Battle of Sol, when a single scan of Earth's battleship led to the liberation of a galaxy. They learned that strength without mercy was tyranny, but mercy without strength was weakness. 5 years after the battle, Admiral Johnson stood before the Alliance Council to give her final address before retirement. Stand here today, not because humanity was stronger than the Dominion, she said. We stand here because we understood something they didn't. True strength comes not from subjugating others, but from lifting them up. Not from rigid tradition, but from constant adaptation. Not from fear, but from hope. She paused, looking at the diverse assembly before her. The Dominion's mistake wasn't scanning our battleship. Their mistake was believing that conquest was the only path to greatness. Today, the galaxy is more united than ever, not through force, but through choice. And that is humanity's greatest contribution to the stars, the simple truth that together we are stronger than alone. The chamber erupted in applause clicks, roars, harmonics, and claps from 50 different species, all celebrating the same thing. Freedom. In orbit above Earth, the USS Thunder, now a museum ship, floated as a reminder. A plaque on its bridge read, "Here began the battle that ended an empire and birthed an alliance." Let all who see this remember, sometimes the smallest spark can light the brightest fire. Commander Vex. Now Ambassador Vex often visited the Thunder with mixed groups of young beings, teaching them about the battle. He would always end with the same words. The Dominion thought we were scanning a primitive battleship. We were actually scanning our future teachers. That was our mistake and the galaxy's salvation. The stars continued to shine, but now they shone on a galaxy where species worked together, explored together, and protected each other. Earth had given them more than freedom. It had given them hope. And in the vast darkness of space, human and alien ships flew side by side toward the infinite unknown, ready for whatever challenges awaited them. Together. The end.